This is Ed Rogers, and I'm here to show you how. It's all connected. I'd like to take a brief look at the real role Islam played in our nation's founding. As the title of today's program suggests, it includes a warning that those who cannot remember the past are condemned to repeat it. You may remember Barack Obama's outrageous claims about Islam, Christianity, and the Crusades during last year's National Prayer Breakfast. These came on the heels of a series of similar claims regarding Islam's role in the founding of our nation. Of all those engaged in the rewriting of history, our president takes a back seat to no one. Perhaps the fact that his flagrant lies go unchallenged explains in part why so many historically knowledgeable voters are so upset with Washington types. They know very well that throughout history, the followers of Muhammad have never been friendly toward America. Yet, from his apology tour to his recent Baltimore mosque speech, Barack Obama has been touting the greatness of Islam as a religion of peace while demeaning Christianity. History shows that those living in the early days of our nation knew all too well that Islam stood in stark opposition to everything upon which our young nation was founded. In fact, the conflict between America and Islam began as soon as our nation was birthed. After our War of Independence, Muslim pirates along the Barbary coast of Africa began attacking American ships engaged in commerce in the Mediterranean. Algerian de Muhammad actually declared war on the United States, resulting in two separate wars against Tripoli in 1801 and Algiers in 1815. The Barbary Wars began, however, with an attempt at appeasement that took the form of an agreement in 1784 by the Continental Congress to enter into treaties with the four Barbary states, which was our first official attempt to negotiate with terrorists. Without the ability to adequately protect its ships, the fledgling American government tried to appease the Muslim slavers by paying a tribute as well as ransoms in an attempt to purchase the release of captured American sailors and their ships. John Adams argued that all things considered, paying the tribute was the cheapest way to get commerce moving again in the Mediterranean. Thomas Jefferson thought otherwise. Believing that there would be no end to the demands for tribute, he believed war was the only real solution. With the appeasers in Congress winning out, the next 15 years saw the American government paying out millions to the Muslims. In 1800, these payments amounted to 20% of the federal government's total annual revenues. When Jefferson became president, he was finally in a position to end the extortion. He dispatched American Marines and some of our best warships to the Barbary coast. The Muslim surrender at Tripoli brought the return of all Americans who had been held as slaves. Intense naval bombardments and onshore raids by the Marines eventually brought an end to the piracy altogether. Jefferson's victory is memorialized in the line of the Marine hymn, "From the halls of Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli." Our president likes to point to the constructive and essential role that Islam played in our nation's beginnings. Oh, it played a role, all right, but his version of the story isn't even close to the truth. In the real story, the danger posed by the fanatic followers of Islam was so great that delegates to the newly formed American government urged their states to ratify the U.S. Constitution. it became very clear that their survival depended on a strong federal union and a strong navy to protect them from the Algerian Muslims. In the Federalist number 24, Alexander Hamilton asserted that without a federal navy of respectable weight, the genius of American merchants and navigators would be stifled and lost. Likewise, John Jay, in his letters, wrote Algerian corsairs and the pirates of Tunis and Tripoli would compel the feeble American states to unite, since the more we are ill-treated abroad, the more we shall unite and consolidate at home. The fact that Obama's outrageous claims have gone largely unchallenged is bad enough. It's even worse that so many Americans are so historically ignorant that they just accept his lies as fact. Thanks to American public education, we have several generations now who can't learn from the past because they have no idea what happened in the past or what's going on today. Just watch Jesse Waters on Waters World interviewing college students, and you'll wonder how these people managed to stay alive for 20 years. The Bernie Sanders phenomenon is a case in point. A few decades ago, the thought of an avowed socialist running for president was unthinkable, let alone one who would receive the support of a large chunk of the college and young professional crowd. Don't they know what socialism is? The obvious answer is, no, they don't. Neither do they know the destruction that socialism has left in its wake as it marched through Eastern Europe and Russia not that long ago. These people seem content to follow anyone who promises things that will benefit them directly, without considering the cost in both dollars and freedom. Having endured 8 years of Barack Obama, you'd think they would have learned a lesson. But it's still true that those who cannot remember the past are condemned to repeat it. And millions are willing to repeat it with Bernie Sanders or Hillary Clinton. Across the aisle, there's the Trump phenomenon. While he's running an unconventional campaign, to put it mildly, his style has a lot in common with that of Barack Obama. Generalities and platitudes dipped in arrogant self-confidence, masquerading as leadership, short on details but long on scratching where he detects an itch. Had Americans paid more attention to Obama's past, numerous red flags would have emerged. But if you're not interested in the past, you'll maintain your firm grip on stupidity, and the nation will suffer. I want to remain optimistic, but if we haven't learned anything from the last 8 years, we are doomed to repeat our mistakes. May God help us. To lighten things up as I close, here's my thought for today, and it relates to today's message. Even duct tape can't fix stupid, but it can muffle the sound. I'm just saying. I invite you to check out my website at edrogers.net, where you'll see my books, blogs, and newsletters. One of my ebooks, entitled Duped, shows just how we have failed to learn from the past in allowing Islam to infiltrate the highest levels of our government and our culture. Until next time, this is Ed Rogers, showing you how. It's all connected.